Hello everyone. In the previous lecture we have discussed about the bond enthalpy, how to find the reaction enthalpy from the bond enthalpies we have discussed in detail. Now in this video we are going to discuss about the Hess law of constant heat summation. So first of all we need to understand the statement of this law. It states that overall the enthalpy change for a reaction is equal to the sum of the enthalpy changes of individual steps in the reaction. Means overall enthalpy change for a reaction is equal to the sum of the enthalpy changes of the individual steps in that reaction. It also means alternative statement of this law is the enthalpy change for a chemical reaction is the same regardless of the path by which the reaction occurs. Means the enthalpy change for the chemical reaction is independent of the path. Regardless of the path, its enthalpy remains same. Its enthalpy remains same. This is the Hess law. Now Hess law is a direct consequence of the fact that enthalpy change is a state function. We know that enthalpy is denoted by H, capital H. Change in enthalpy is written delta. It means final minus initial. That is enthalpy in the final state minus enthalpy in the initial state, we get the enthalpy change. Means the enthalpy change is dependent on the initial and the final state. So it is the state function. So Hess law, this law is a direct consequence. It is direct result of the fact that enthalpy is a state function. Means enthalpy depends only on the initial and the final state. It does not depend on the path. It does not depend on the path. Only it depends on the states, initial and the final state. The enthalpy change of a reaction depends only on the initial and final states and not on the path by which the reaction occurs. So this is the complete meaning of the statement of Hess law of constant heat summation. Now let us know in detail what this law states. For example, to determine the overall equation of the reaction, reactants and products in the individual steps are added or subtracted like algebraic entities. Means while obtaining the chemical equation for the overall reaction, you can add, subtract the individual steps of that reaction. Means you can give any algebraic treatment to that individual steps of that reaction. Because thermochemical equations are treated algebraically. So you can give any algebraic operation to the individual steps of that reaction. So you can add, you can subtract, you can multiply that equation by any integer or any fraction. So any algebraic operation you can apply to that individual steps of the reaction. Let us see the example. Consider the synthesis of ammonia. The ammonia can be synthesized in the two steps. First step is 2 moles of hydrogen gas are reacting with the 1 mole of nitrogen to form N2H4. And here for the formation of N2H4, this much amount of energy is absorbed. Means this much amount of energy is provided from the outside. So this reaction is endothermic. Now the second step, the N2H4 hydrazine reacts with the hydrogen to form ammonia, and this step is exothermic because here 187.6 kilojoule energy is released because the sign is negative. Now when we add these two, we get the formula. Here N2H4, here N2H4 gets cancelled. What else we can cancel? Nothing. Now here 2H2 and this is 1H2. Add these two reactions. On adding these two reactions, we get 3H2. 1N2 is there. So we have written to the left of this reaction 1N2. To the right, what is left? 2NH3 written. Now subtract 95.4, means add these two, so that we get 92.2 kilojoule. This is the standard enthalpy of this reaction. Means this reaction takes place in the two steps, but its enthalpy for the overall reaction remains same whether it takes place in single step or in the multiple steps. The enthalpy for this overall reaction does not change. We'll take another example. Consider sublimation of the water. Ice. This is what? This is ice. Ice is converted into the gaseous state. This much amount of energy is absorbed per mole. Per mole, this much amount of energy is absorbed for the conversion of 1 mole of ice to 1 mole of gas, water in the gaseous state at 0 degree Celsius. So this is the overall reaction. The enthalpy is 51.0. This reaction takes place in the two steps. First step is, first of all, solid converts into liquid. This takes place at 0 degree Celsius. This is at 0 degree Celsius. This is nothing but the fusion, and fusion enthalpy is 6.01. This much amount of energy is required. Now second step is liquid water converts into gaseous water and vaporization takes place here. This also takes place at 0 degree Celsius. The enthalpy is 45.07 kilojoule per mole. Now adding both the reaction, we get here, while adding, H2O liquid is there to the right side, H2O liquid to the left side. So same species on the opposite side get cancelled while adding, and water remained. On the left hand side is H2O in the solid state, to the right hand side is H2O gaseous state. And now add these two values of the enthalpies, we will get 51.08 kilojoule per mole. See, this reaction takes place in the two steps. So after that also the enthalpy for this overall reaction is 51.08. So whether the reaction takes place in the multiple steps or in the single steps, enthalpy for that overall reaction remains same. It does not change. It means that enthalpy of this reaction depends only on the initial and the final state. It does not depend on the path. How does it happen? It does not depend on that path. It depends on the initial and the final state. It does not depend on the path. So it is the state function. See here, when two steps, enthalpies of the two steps are added, we get enthalpy for that overall reaction. Applications of Hess law. The Hess law has been useful to calculate the enthalpy changes for the reaction with their enthalpies being not known experimentally. Means the reaction whose enthalpy is not known experimentally or cannot be determined experimentally, or it is very difficult to determine experimentally, such a type of reaction enthalpies can be determined with the help of the Hess law. The example 4.14 in the textbook, whatever is given, we have taken here. Calculate the standard enthalpy of the reaction. The reaction is given 2Fe in the solid state, iron 3 by 2 O2 in the gaseous state. We get Fe2O3 iron oxide in the solid state. Now for this reaction we need to determine the enthalpy, standard enthalpy. Now here what is given? The given here is the two reactions. 2Al reacts with the Fe2O3. We get 2Fe and Al2O3. And the enthalpy change for this reaction in the standard state is given minus 847.6 kilojoule. Similarly, second reaction is given 2Al reacts with the 3 by 2 O2 in the gaseous state, gives aluminum oxide in the solid state, and the standard enthalpy of this reaction is given minus 1670 kilojoule. It is provided. Now from this we have to calculate the enthalpy of that reaction. Now see here, to determine the enthalpy of this reaction we need 2Fe to the left hand side, 3 by 2 O2 on the left hand side, and we need 1 mole of Fe2O3 to the right hand side. Keep this in mind, how many moles we need to the left and right of that particular species. Now we have provided with these two reactions. These two reactions are, first one is Al, second one is Al reacts with the 3 by 2 O2. Now from this reaction we get 3 by 2 O2, and from this reaction we get Fe. But in this reaction Fe is there to the right hand side. Now we need to reverse this reaction so that we can get Fe on the left hand side. So we are going to reverse this. What type of algebraic operations we are giving to this reaction? Pay attention to this one. Fe is there on the right hand side. I am going to reverse this reaction in order to get the Fe to the left hand side. So the sign of this enthalpy changes. This is the first algebraic operation, and the second algebraic operation is not needed because to the left I need 3 by 2 O2. So from the second reaction I am getting 3 by 2 O2. So there is no need to give any algebraic operation to this second one reaction, and this can be written as it is. See here what I have done. The first reaction is reversed. Reverse equation 1 and that then add equation 2 to the first one, so that we get 2Fe Al2O3 gives 2Al and Fe2O3, and the enthalpy sign is changed. And now here second reaction is written as it is, and these two are added in order to get the overall reaction. So after adding these two we get 2Al this side left side, 2Al right side. Similar species on the opposite sides gets cancelled. Now what is left on the left hand side? 2Fe written. Then one more thing get cancelled here, Al2O3 and Al2O3. 1 mole is there, and that too are in the solid state. So these species are there on the opposite sides, so get cancelled. Now what is left to the left hand side is 2Fe and 3 by 2 O2 in the gaseous state. These are written. And now what else is left? That is Fe2O3 to the right hand side. It is written, and these both values are added, so that we will get minus 822 kilojoule. This is the standard enthalpy of this reaction. In this way we can determine, means what algebraic operation I have given, I have reversed this one, so that the sign of the enthalpy also changes, and just I have added this into the second equation to get the overall reaction. Now the second example is calculate the standard enthalpy of the reaction. Reaction is given SiO2, silica, reacts with the graphite, 3 moles of graphite to give SiC, silicon carbide, and 2CO, carbon monoxide in the gaseous state. From the following reaction, these are the reactions given. steps of this overall reactions are given. So we need to determine the enthalpy of this reaction from these steps. And the reaction, these reactions are provided with their standard enthalpies. Now what do we want to the left hand side? Just see, SiO2 we need 1 mole. To the left we need 3 moles of graphite. To the right we need 1 mole of silicon carbide and 2 moles of carbon monoxide. So carefully observe the following reactions from which we get SiO2. Here from the first reaction we get SiO2, but SiO2 is there to the right hand side. We need it to the left hand side. So I can reverse this reaction, reversing first reaction. So the sign of this reaction also changes. Sign of this reaction enthalpy changes, that becomes plus 911 kilojoule. When we reverse the reaction, sign of the enthalpy changes. Now 3 graphite we need, 2 graphite from the second reaction, 1 graphite from the third reaction I am getting. So just by adding these 2 we will get the 3 graphite. Now what do we want to the right hand side is silicon carbide and carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide we get from the second reaction. This is we need to the right hand side. It is already there on the right hand side. What else is needed? Silicon carbide we need to the right hand side. Already in the third it is given to the right hand side. So what I have to do is just reverse the first reaction and then add the reversed reaction into this second and third reaction, so that we get this overall reaction. Let us see. SiO2, this is the reverse the equation 1, reversed. The equation 1 is reversed. SiO2 gives Si and O2, the sign of that is changed, because in the previous one it was it is 9 minus 911. So here this must be plus, this must be plus. Okay. Now the second, add second and third and fourth reaction. Fourth means this one obtained by reversing. Okay. Now here second, third and fourth, which is obtained by the reversing first reaction. By adding these 3 steps or these 3 constituent reactions, we get the overall reaction. Now see here, what get cancelled is Si is there on the left, Si is there on the right. Silicon gets cancelled. Now what else? Just pay attention. SiO2. Then oxygen is there on the right hand side and oxygen is there on the left hand side, gets cancelled. Now what is left here? SiO2, 1 mole of SiO2 written here, 2 graphite and 1 graphite, so 3 graphite it becomes after adding. Now to the right hand side 1 mole of silicon carbide is left, so 1 mole of silicon carbide we have written here, and 2 moles of carbon monoxide are left, so 2 moles of carbon monoxide. Now add these 3 enthalpy values, after adding we get 624 kilojoule. This is the value of the overall enthalpy of the reaction is obtained here. So this is the application of the Hess law. Hess law states that enthalpy for an overall reaction is the summation of the enthalpies of the constituent reaction, and when the enthalpy for the overall reaction is calculated from the constituent reaction, the enthalpy does not change, it remains the same. So enthalpy for a reaction remains same whether the reaction takes place in the one step or in the multiple step. The enthalpy of the reaction does not change. So this is about the Hess law we have discussed today. Thank you.